The champagne glass shattered in my hand the moment my mother said it. In front of 40 guests, in front of my husband, in front of the sister smirking behind her diamond earrings. Your younger sister already has a 3-room apartment, a car, and it's all covered in diamonds. And you're still a loser, just as if you were. My name is Vera. I'm 34. The loser my mother just announced to her entire anniversary party. The woman she was praising? My younger sister, Albina, 29, glowing, draped in jewelry I couldn't afford in 10 years of my accounting salary. I stood there, champagne dripping off my fingers, my husband Pasha's hand frozen on my back. 40 faces turned toward me, some pitying, some delighted. I smiled. I always smile when I'm bleeding inside. Later that night, half drunk on humiliation and real wine, I cornered Albina in the kitchen. "Tell me your secret," I said, trying to sound playful. "What am I doing wrong?" She looked at me for a long moment, something flickering behind her eyes. Guilt, maybe, or pity. Then she told me, and I had to grip the counter to stay standing. "Vera," she whispered, glancing toward the door. "It's not what you think. The apartment, the car, Victor's company is funding it. Not him personally. The company." I blinked. "What does that mean?" "He's been moving money through fake vendor invoices for 2 years. Shell contracts. I sign as a consultant for work I never do. That's where it all comes from." My sister, bookkeeper for her husband's construction firm, had been laundering embezzled funds disguised as a glamorous life. And our mother had just humiliated me in front of 40 people for not stealing. I should have walked away then. Instead, old habits took over. The good daughter, the responsible one, the one who fixes things.
"You need to stop," I said.
"If anyone audits that company, no one's auditing anything. Victor knows people." She said it like armor, like she'd memorized the line. I went home that night, unable to sleep, replaying my mother's words on a loop. Loser, loser, loser. Pasha tried to comfort me, but I just stared at the ceiling, thinking about Albina's shaking hands, her forced smile. 3 weeks later, my phone rang at 2 a.m. It was Albina. She was crying so hard I couldn't understand a word. They froze everything. She finally choked out. The accounts, the apartment, the car, all of it. Victor's business partner found the discrepancies. He's threatening to go to the prosecutor unless Victor pays him off in cash. "Vera, I don't know what to do." I sat up in bed, heart pounding. 3 weeks ago, I was the family disappointment. Now my sister was calling me at 2 a.m. like I was the only stable thing left in her world. "Why are you calling me?" I asked. "Call Mama." Silence. Then, quietly, "Mama already knows. She's the one who told me to ask you for money." The room tilted. My own mother, who'd called me a loser at her anniversary, wanted me to bail out the daughter she actually loved, using money she assumed I didn't even have. "I don't have spare cash for this, Albina. You and Pasha have savings. Mama said you've always been good with money. Responsible. That's what you're for." That's what I was for. Not love. Not pride. A function. I hung up without answering. 2 days later, Mama called, her voice syrupy and manipulative in a way I now recognized for what it was. Family helps family, Verachka. Unless you really are as selfish as you act. That's when something inside me went cold, calm, and very, very clear. I told her I needed time to think. What I actually needed was proof. It took me 4 days of quiet, careful searching. Old invoices Albina had once shown me by accident, login details she'd never bothered to change, a forgotten flash drive she'd left at my place months ago, just in case. I copied everything. Contracts, bank transfers, names. Then Mama invited the whole family to dinner, to discuss how we all help your sister, she said, like I'd already agreed. I walked into that dining room in my best dress, calm as still water. Albina sat pale and trembling. Victor wouldn't meet my eyes. Mama beamed like a queen holding court. "So," she announced to the table, "Vera has decided to be a good sister and contribute to fixing this little misunderstanding." "Actually," I said, setting my phone on the table, screen facing up, "I came to return something." I pressed play. Albina's own voice filled the room, recorded weeks ago, confessing every detail of the fake invoices, the shell contracts, Victor's threats. Forks froze midair. Mama's smile cracked like glass. You stole my sister's confession? Victor barked. No, I said softly. I just finally listened. Something none of you ever did for me. Mama's face went white as the truth sank in. I wasn't the loser anymore. I didn't shout. I didn't cry. I simply picked up my phone, slid it back into my purse, and walked out into the cold night air while Mama's voice cracked behind me, calling my name like it still held power over me. It didn't anymore. For the first week, I let myself feel it all. The years of being compared, dismissed, used as the family's emergency fund when never convenient, then mocked for being boring and unsuccessful the rest of the time. I cried in the shower so Pasha wouldn't hear. Then I stopped. Grief has a shelf life. Strategy doesn't. I wasn't interested in petty revenge. No screaming matches, no smashed windows, nothing that would let Mama paint me as the unstable daughter. I wanted something quieter, something that couldn't be denied, twisted, or forgiven away over Sunday dinner. I thought about what mattered most to each of them. To Victor, it was control and reputation. To Albina, it was the illusion of success. To Mama, it was image, being the woman everyone admired at her own anniversary party. I made a list. Then I made calls to a forensic accountant friend, to a journalist I'd met years ago covering corporate fraud, to a lawyer who owed me a favor. I wasn't going to destroy my sister. I was going to make the truth impossible to ignore. Step 1. Documentation. I sent the forensic accountant everything, the invoices, the transfers, the recording, not to the police yet, but to confirm what I already knew was airtight. This isn't just embezzlement, she told me over coffee, scrolling through the files. This is fraud serious enough to end the company. You could go to the police right now.
Not yet, I said.
I want it done right.
Clean.
Undeniable. Step 2. I met privately with Victor's business partner, the one already threatening to expose them. I didn't go in with accusations. I went in with the evidence, calmly laid out, and one simple offer. Report it properly, through legal channels, or be complicit when it surfaced anyway. His face drained of color. Why are you giving me this? Because someone needs to stop pretending family loyalty means hiding crimes. Step 3. The journalist. I didn't leak names yet, only confirmed that local fraud investigators would soon receive a formal, well-documented report. Public record. No accusations from me, no fingerprints, just facts doing what facts do. 3 weeks later, investigators showed up at Victor's office with a warrant. I was at home, making dinner, when Pasha's phone buzzed with a news alert. Local headline: construction firm accounts frozen amid embezzlement investigation. I read it twice, set the spoon down, and exhaled, calm, finally, for the first time in months. Albina called within the hour, sobbing, words tumbling over each other. Did you do this? Vera, did you do this to us? I didn't fabricate anything, I said quietly. I just stopped protecting you from your own choices. We're going to lose everything. The apartment, the car. Things you got from stolen money, I said. I know it hurts, but it was never really yours. She hung up crying. 2 days later, Mama called, and for once, her voice wasn't sharp or commanding. It was small.
Frightened.
Vera, please. Talk to the investigators. Tell them it's a misunderstanding. You're the smart one, fix this. There it was again.
The smart one.
The responsible one. Always useful, never valued, until they needed me. I'm not fixing this, Mama. For once, someone in this family is going to face consequences, instead of me absorbing them. You'd really let your sister go to prison? I'd really let the truth exist, I said. That's different from what you're asking. The investigation moved fast once it started. Victor was charged with fraud and falsification of corporate records. Albina, as bookkeeper, faced her own charges, though her lawyer was already negotiating a plea given her cooperation. The diamonds, the apartment, the car, all seized as part of the case. Mama's anniversary success story had collapsed into a courtroom headline, and I hadn't laid a single finger on any of it. Months later, I sat across from Albina in a quiet cafe, not the polished, diamond-draped woman from the anniversary party, but someone smaller, humbler, finally honest. "I keep thinking," she said, stirring coffee she wasn't drinking, "if you'd just given us the money that night, none of this would have happened." I almost laughed. "Albina, the company was already collapsing before I knew anything. I didn't cause this. I just stopped delaying it." She looked down. "Mama still says you destroyed the family. Mama said I was a loser at her own party, in front of 40 people for not stealing." I said gently. "I didn't destroy anything. I just stopped being the family's emergency fund and silent witness." Here's the twist nobody saw coming, not even me. 6 months after the case closed, the journalist I'd spoken to published a feature, not on the fraud, but on corporate whistleblowers protecting family members from deeper legal exposure by acting early. Albina, cooperating fully, received a reduced sentence, probation, restitution, no prison. Victor wasn't as lucky. And Mama? She called me last week, voice stripped of its old superiority. "I was wrong about you, Vera." I didn't gloat. I didn't need to. "I know," I said simply, and for the first time in my life, that was enough. I hung up, looked at Pasha, and finally felt like the winner I'd always been.